All right, welcome back. It's Monday, 2 o'clock in Lancaster. And that means it's time for an episode of Lancaster Connects here from the guys, Gardner's Mattress and More. Happy to be with you, Lancaster. And it's episode 209.
Crazy.
Amazing how time flies.
School started today for most schools.
Yep, back to school time.
Summer is officially over.
No, not yet. Labor Day Monday marks that, man. Come on. Don't take the last week of summer away from the people.
I am one to love the routine of a school schedule. So, I mean, I liked having the kids around at the house this summer.
It's time to kick them out.
Time to go back. Get some sense of normalcy back to the schedule. But yeah, you're right. Another week of school, another week of summer. Officially Labor Day and summer, right?
Yeah, you know what helps that when they start driving and they can do their own thing.
We're getting close. We're getting closer.
Yep. But then you got to keep the vehicles going, and then it's like the end of the world when one of them breaks down. We have some friends going through that right now. And it's like, Mom, when's my car coming back? I had that last week with Aiden with his truck.
Yes, you did. I got the story.
Dad, I have a date tonight. I need to use my truck. So, yeah, the life and times of growing up and rites of passages and all kinds of things. But as we get into the show, I thought we would add a new little flavor, new little moment for all of our fans and friends of the show. And that's to add in a little bit of mattress talk right out of the gate. Not long. I'm not going to change the show.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little tidbit, little smidgen.
I mean, sleeping.
A little mattress moose bouche, if you will.
Perfect. Chris is he's got a graphic half made for that.
Yeah, right. It was my anniversary this weekend. We went to 401 Prime, one of the nicer restaurants here in town, and shout out to them for some fantastic meals. That's where the moose bouche came up. I actually think it's a moose bouche. I think is how it's formally pronounced.
You have to pinky out when you say that.
You don't need to know fancy words to go to any restaurant. You don't even need to know them at 401 Prime. But as far as our mattress tip goes, there was my amazing steak.
Look at that.
Very, very tasty.
I can imagine.
It was a very good time there at 401 Prime.
You got to tell the RB story. I didn't even know this.
Right. Okay. Well, we're trying to do the mattress tip segment, but Chris, we'll get to the mattress tip in a minute. Flash, go rewind the tape 23 years to August 24th, 2002, about, 10 p.m., 10:30. Steph and I are driving to the hotel.
Mm-hmm. Wedding is over.
We're driving to the hotel, and we both are looking at each other like, we are hungry. Where
like after your reception?
Yeah. How did this happen? We just paid for like 200 people's dinners, and we're hungry. And so we go through the drive-through in my Hyundai Elantra 5-speed hatchback. We had no money starting out, right? As most couples.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so we go through the drive-through at Arby's. Steph's in the passenger seat. Our wedding dresses all over the whole front seat.
Wedding dresses don't fit in a car well.
Yeah. And I'm in my tux, and we go through the Arby's, and we had she had her number one classic, no cheese. I had whatever I had, and that's that. That was the story of the Arby's parking lot on our wedding night.
Did anybody ask you, like, did you guys just get married, or you just dress up like this on a Friday night or Saturday, whatever?
I don't know if they asked us or anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just quite the difference of time that your wedding night you went to Arby's, and then we went to 401 Prime 23 years later.
Yeah. So, well, congratulations.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun.
23 years is awesome.
That was that. But now let's roll into the mattress tip. And so mattress tip for you this week is, yes, there are two-sided mattresses. We actually have that question quite a bit. Why is there a belief that there aren't two-sided mattresses out there? Well, you have a couple companies that control about 70% of the market share, and thus the distribution, and they don't make two-sided beds. And so I don't want to say that people lie, but it does influence what gets said and what gets shared. And so when 70% of the marketplace isn't making two-sided mattresses. And then many of the stuff that's online and in the club stores and box stores isn't two-sided. It's just something that kind of pops up, right? And so, yes, there are two-sided mattresses. Why that's important? Well, if you want something that's going to extend the comfort life, extend durability, extend out that wear and tear point of you laying on your side of the bed, a two-sided mattress is something you might consider, and something that we have quite a few options in, and that we've developed a unique product around. And so we've got them here on display for you to try out here at Gardner's Mattress and More. So that's my little mattress tip for you this week.
Yeah, two-sided beds are especially nice when couple laying on a bed together has varying body sizes or differing body sizes. You can flip and rotate to get even wear and tear across the entire mattress, as opposed to maybe getting one divot and one non-divot.
That's right.
So even wear and tear for two-sided mattress.
That's right. Even it out. Yep. And we had a comment. We're trying not to touch on this, even though it's September.
He's just like,
we're trying to keep it very much user friendly with who listens and who watches, and maybe they're not into football. But you know what? We have to give Mr. Lancaster, John Harrisman, go Birds back, fly Eagles fly. We are 10 days away from, I'm going to keep it PG, but BTA on the Cowboys on opening night of football.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just leave it at that. We get to hang the banner and they get to watch.
Yeah. And that organization has got a little bit of troubles right now.
A little bit.
We'll
got their head defensive stars sleeping on the sidelines, so we'll see what happens.
They do. My goodness.
Yeah. Well, look, Lancaster, I tried to keep it very focused.
He did pretty well.
Mr. Lancaster, John Harrisman distracted me. My cohort distracted me, but that was our mattress tip.
The Arby's thing, that was Chris.
The Arby's thing was Chris. I was dialed in. Our guests, like, what did I sign up for?
Yeah, right. I think that's a great segue.
It is. There you go. Take it away, Ben.
On our guest today, we've got Andrew Szalay. I almost said it incorrectly. Not spelled like that, but Andrew Szalay.
No, it's not.
Habitat for Humanity of Lancaster, Lebanon counties. Andrew, thanks for joining us on Lancaster Connects today.
Thanks for bringing me here. And now I know about the two-side mattress. That's actually kind of cool.
Absolutely. Stop by and try them out sometime.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Take a nap. Come take a nap.
Perfect.
All
It's
right.
time for a nap. I could use one.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. So Habitat for Humanity, I think a lot of people in Lancaster and obviously nationwide are familiar with Habitat for Humanity, but maybe you could just share with our listeners and watchers a little bit about the mission for Habitat for Humanity right here in Lancaster, PA.
Yeah, we are focused on bringing people together so that we're able to make first-time home buyer opportunities. In fact, we're in the execution phase of a 5-year building campaign where we've raised an additional $4 million on top of our regular annual fundraising to serve 30 families and make 30 new affordable homes. We're in the building in the city of Lancaster, city of Lebanon, out in Columbia, and we'll be completing all that by the end of next year and transforming some lives through home ownership.
That's amazing. How did you get involved?
I got involved actually about 11 years ago, a little over 10 years ago. I've been doing housing my entire life in some format. My dad and my grandfather ran a master electrician business, started out as radio, into electrical work. My brother now runs a business back in Western New York. And I went from there and then working real estate title, settlement table, and then went down to Washington, D.C. and got involved in government politics, but it was actually always in housing. And my interest in trying to help solve all the confusion about how the housing market doesn't work for us, foreclosures and whatnot, Great Recession. Everyone kept saying to me, you got to go work for Habitat for Humanity. And I kept thinking, hey, I'm going to go work for a for-profit builder or learn low-income housing tax credit work and be a developer. And ended up coming to Lancaster area Habitat for Humanity, get out in the field, do some real work, and do a little bit of construction, a little bit of retail too for our social enterprise. But it's been amazing to be able to see lives transformed, becoming first-time home buyers, building wealth. So yeah, it's been an amazing ride.
It's very, very cool. Hey, before we get too much further, Andrew, you gave us some answers. I want to try a little something here on the show. So for anybody listening and watching, we're going to do a little trivia. So 2-part trivia. 1, name that former president who is a big fan, and I think Andrew would agree, #1 supporter of Habitat for Humanity. And then bonus points if you can let us know the last year that former president worked on a live project, swinging the hammer, building a house for Habitat for Humanity. So a little 2-parter there.
So they just put that in the chat, right?
Yeah, just throw it in the chat.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously a lot of challenges, Andrew, with housing today. How are you navigating that as a leader there with Habitat for Humanity to make affordable housing happen here in Lancaster and Lebanon area?
Yeah, so we're very blessed with a lot of housing nonprofits actually in the Lancaster County area. There's a lot of other partners we work with, including Tenfold, in the Sul-lay neighborhood and so forth. They do a lot of financial literacy for us as well, or have with our home buyers. There's Impact Missions. They're both doing rehabs and repair work. And there's also Serve and Sink that are serving in the county and also other counties as well. And SACA Development, part of the Spanish American Civics Association. And I'm probably blanking out another one in the whole mix here. But they've all been contributing to this. But we're the only one that's providing zero-interest mortgages. We're making the low-income homeownership opportunities through our credit program. We're a licensed mortgage lender in the state of Pennsylvania for our Habitat home buyers in our program. And we're doing both rehabs. We're taking old, unaffordable homes that are needing a lot, because we have a lot of aging homes in the state, in our community, and making them into affordable homes. And then we're also taking raw land and making them into affordable homes as well. So both the housing preservation and adding units, which is exactly the strategy the entire Commonwealth and probably a large part of our country needs to have. We bring in volunteers to help us do the construction work. The home buyers are also providing a minimum of 250 sweat equity hours into the house, building it and learning financial literacy. And there's some other ways you can earn some of that sweat equity as well, and working up towards house match, in completion, and then getting their Habitat mortgage.
Very good. So that's like a 3-pronged approach. I'm going to touch on the financial literacy part a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think I see a lot of things around. I spend probably more time than I should on Reddit and, in the credit and personal finance forums. And
good.
It's always interesting to me to see grown adults know so little about personal credit, overall financial literacy. My youngest sister, who I love dearly, she just got herself a new to her car, and I helped her navigate things that to me are just like, well, yeah, of course, that would be the question to ask, or of course, that is the way this works. And look, there's no Life for Dummies guidebook you're given at birth that would be this thick as you go through life. But financial literacy is one of those things. What do you see your folks needing the most as they come to you that we might be able to share out in a tidbit that would just be that light bulb moment for others?
I'd say that the very first thing that everybody really needs to have, even before they get to the Habitat Homebuyer program, is consolidating their debt, because a lot of folks will have their debt, and that'll be the threshold getting into the program in a lot of ways. For instance, our credit program doesn't have a minimum credit score, which is great for you, because if you've missed some payments, you've got some gaps, or you just have no credit, that's okay. But the problem sometimes becomes the fact that your debt isn't consolidated. So you've got these judgments or other things lingering out there, delinquencies that need to be packaged up in one place. But if you've got everything in a regular payment schedule, you're staying on time with those, that is going to be way more empowering. It's going to also build up your credit over time. Those are the sort of things you probably need to wrap up and make sure you're getting under control. I think a lot of people don't like spending, less on what they make, but you have to. And that, I think, is one of the talents of what make people successful financially in the long run. That's probably the most basic thing, but it really is one of those keys. One other thing I'd probably recommend everybody is taking more of those classes, because I think everybody's situation is a little bit different. And I don't think everybody has the master knowledge of what that equation is for your lifestyle and your goals.
Right.
In fact, Habitat is working with Truist right now. They're doing the bank. They're doing a financial literacy with us every month, webinars in English and Spanish for everybody on Wednesday night. I can't remember the exact date, but starting in, they just did this month. They're starting again middle of September and be running through the winter. I think more people should sign up for them, because there's going to be not only, I want to say tidbits, but nuggets, golden nuggets for you to be able to improve your position.
And those financial literacy courses, is that something anyone can tap into?
Free. That's free. They just need to register
for anyone.
The web link. Yep.
So we would go to the link wherever you're watching this show, listening to the show.
Yep.
Get on Habitat for Humanity's link that we have in the show notes, Lancaster, Lebanon, habitat.org if you're listening right now. But again, go in the show notes and hit their website and find the financial literacy courses. You touched on missed payments. That just rings a bell. That's 35% of your credit score is missed payments. Mm. And whenever I'm talking this with anybody, I say that's the one that's going to drive your score faster, further than any of the other four metrics. It's the biggest number. It's 35%. And even if it's a minimum payment, make it on time. Because you miss a payment, it can stick with you for 12 to 24 months. Just depends on what it is that's reporting. It penalizes you the fastest. It's kind of like it's binary. It's all or nothing. And it's one of those things that just really, really matters so much. So that would be a little tidbit that I would share back. But go to that link.
One other thing, Jeff, I'll just point out is I've noticed that a lot of folks that may have some financial literacy, or just they've been successful with having enough income, buying their car, buying their house, and so forth for the first time. But I think as time goes on, their life challenges change and shift, and what their expenditures are on. And it's interesting how your own spending patterns may actually change, or where you're saving them and investing. And I think that we need to constantly keep reevaluating and educating ourselves. So showing up for something like that webinar I was just talking about, going on learning from some experts would be very, very helpful. Tenfold would be a great place to go for some of their free classes as well.
Yep.
And you mentioned the 250 hours of sweat equity that these future homeowners will put into the home. What does that sweat equity entail? Like what type of things might they be doing?
Principally, it's helping build a house. They could be framing, they could be painting, they could be doing demolition, which is some people's favorite. With my sinuses, I probably really need a mask on, but all that dust coming off the walls and so forth. But our volunteers will be doing there we go. You see the floors and conditions, putting in the brand new framing. We bring the old homes down to the studs. And sometimes I was just at a house back in Lebanon last week, and it's we've taken out all the old frame, the exterior wall still up and so forth. And we've got new boards and 2x4s going in. So it'll be new. You're going to learn the flooring. You're going to be learning the trim, cabinetry installation, door frames, some of the plumbing. We bring in licensed plumbers, electricians, and and obviously everyone's going to be, and we're going to have folks doing the roofing, professionals doing those. So they're up high, keeping everyone safe. But it's just about everything, and they can learn skills along the way. It's not intimidating. The hardest thing is really, it's like climbing any kind of major mountain. The most important thing you do first is buy the ticket. So go to Lancaster, Lebanon, habitat.org and show up.
Nice. And obviously, to make this all happen, you have an army of volunteers that join on these projects. Can you talk a little bit about the volunteers that dedicate their time to Habitat? And of course, maybe you could talk a little bit about how people would sign up to be a volunteer and what type of volunteers you might be looking for.
So this organization was all started by volunteers exclusively. That's the way when Jimmy Carter started, most of these organizations were all volunteer and maybe one or two employees, usually a head of construction to help coordinate everyone coming on out, and then some doing some of the administrative things and doing some of the fundraising. But these days we've gotten to the point where we're a little bit more like an association, so there's a little more corporate nature to it. But the volunteers are the bosses. Our donors are the bosses. We're here to help facilitate all that impact for them. We're bringing you guys together, facilitating that opportunity. Actually, our volunteer board is having us bring more people together to come help change people's lives. And it's also a dual ministry where we're really helping out those volunteers do good work in the community every day. So we love having them come out because they're also going in a neighborhood sometimes they may not otherwise have gone into to be able to help out and see their neighbors. And I mean neighbors throughout Lancaster County, and contributing and working with other folks from other parts of the community and within the city, within Columbia, et cetera, or wherever our builds are, to be able to have an impact and help changing people's lives.
Yeah, wonderful. As you were talking there, I was reminded. I was at we do a lot of mattress give back through Off the Streets, Lancaster.
Sure.
And they had one of their not benefactors, recipients of their charity, speak at their extra gift party, and she had said, Off the Streets helped. She became instantly homeless when her husband just up and left her and 4 kids, I believe it was, which was just so sad to hear. And so, Off the Street stepped in that temporary moment of need. And she said she then became a homeowner through Habitat for Humanity. And man, I just believe, what Off the Streets did in that moment for her, and that what you're doing, it really is generational change.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not just her in that moment. It's those 4 kids that are going to have families later. And now, those 4 kids that would have families later and grandkids, they get to come to grandma's house. And I think that's just so very special that gets to exist.
Yes.
Do you have any other, share some stories like that of change and impact you're really making?
Well, first, a quick comment. I've always noticed that as much as you go to the grandparents, it's always grandma's house. Granddad just has the mortgage, and it's absolutely the truth. But so when I came to Habitat for Humanity International, I was their director of state and local relations for a couple of years before coming up to Pennsylvania. And they set up an onboarding program where I was traveling in different regions. I'd fly into, for instance, like Southern California, visit 4 different Habitat affiliates, or 5, or I can't remember what the pattern was, and then fly out of a different airport back home to DC area at the time. And I'd do that in the Midwest and et cetera. And with a teammate of mine who was also just as new. And we got to learn from the local Habitat affiliates, because there's 1,000 local affiliates across the country. Lancaster Lebanon Habitat for Humanity is just one of them. And I was able to sit down with these Habitat executive directors, and sometimes even their home buyers. They bring in somebody to help chat and kind of guide us a little bit, give me some insight. And I even got to attend a couple of their conferences and meet with some of the families and hear from their stories during, the gala fundraiser or something like that, or this event at a state capitol. And I met several families, or Habitat homebuyer families. And some of them ended up growing up, and their children would end up being on the board of that Habitat affiliate. And the stories they would tell, they didn't know the impact or the reasoning behind their parents' impact and why their life became stable, or they weren't moving from house to house over time. But they realized now over time the value of homeownership to them, and more in retrospect. And basically, I've never met anybody, especially here in Lancaster and Lebanon, but across the country, that has grown up in a Habitat for Humanity house has ever had a regret about that. They know they've been better off and empowered. That generational impact is real. It builds up the one thing about home ownership in this country is, for instance, Habitat for Humanity International, when we operate in 70 countries worldwide, we focus on different things. For instance, in Eastern Europe, we're not focused on providing housing that is homeownership based. For like the families that were fleeing from Ukraine, they went to Habitat Poland, or they went to Poland, they went to Romania, and Habitat for Humanity has presence in both of those. And they were able to provide some support, but they weren't doing homeownership opportunities. They were just providing shelter, which was ended up being a rental source situation. That's what they were known and familiar with and good at. It's very important. Here in the United States, we have a homeownership focus and emphasis. And so that has been the Habitat for Humanity emphasis here in this country, building wealth, because we know that, again, like we were talking about the financial literacy and empowerment, if you're not actually having assets, controlling your debt, managing your own finances, you're going to be losing out on the American game in a lot of ways. So providing a home ownership opportunity is getting more involved in that economy and bettering the next generation, because that wealth building is essential for some of that success.
Yeah. Just because my mind asked the question. So somebody gets into a home. This might be a little left turn in our conversation. Somebody gets in the home, and they have a mortgage through you. Yeah. And they build equity in that home. Are they then able to get a home equity line of credit on that home?
Yeah.
So it's their home. They can use it for wealth building and needs as time goes on.
Exactly. Yeah. They earn in all that appreciation as well. Every Habitat for Humanity affiliate operates their program a little bit differently, but for instance, some will use a community land trust and they've got different benefits, or they might own the land, so there might be a little less appreciation, but they're getting that appreciation. They're getting all that equity. As they're paying down their mortgage, they are earning in that equity. For instance, some of our projects will, we underwrite all of our homes to be costing them no more than 30% of their gross income. Anything less than 30% is considered affordable. If you're paying more than 50% of your gross income on housing, then you're severely cost burdened. And by the way, 1 out of 8 families in Pennsylvania are severely cost burdened. They're paying more than 50%. That's you're making choices between heat and housing, health and housing, food and housing. It's just not fair. But within that affordability, they're paying an affordable mortgage, and we're actually underwriting at 28%. So you got a little bit of buffer. We're expecting, hey, your insurance or your taxes might go up in the next couple of years, so we'll give you a head start on that. But so if your appraisal, because we're going to sell that house to you at the appraised value, so we're also helping out the neighbors. You're not going to have hey, we're not selling it for a discount. You're getting the appraised value. We put on if there's a difference between what's affordable for them and what the house is actually valued at, to save the neighbors and them, we put on a subordinate mortgage that will diminish over time. After 5 years, 1/25 of it goes away every year. And it might be between anywhere from $5,000 to maybe $25,000. And they can actually earn that back just by repaying their first mortgage and staying in the home, staying current and so forth. So it ends up being appreciation. But that way they're also not getting exposed to predatory lending. Hey, there's exposed, equity there.
Right.
It's not, so it's fair and helpful for them so they can be more successful.
Yeah. So you're really setting up for success. So maybe somebody watching might have the question. So what happens if somebody gets behind? Well, I'm guessing you work with that person in the home.
This is I want to call it the magic and wonder, or the magic and miracles of the way this Habitat for Humanity network works out, and the way Millard Fuller, when they created it, and Jimmy Carter's been talking about for years, is it's all about good partnership, good communication with the home buyers. Once they get their mortgage, they are not set adrift, and we're just waiting for payments to come in on a monthly basis to help fund the next project. We're actually staying in communication with them. We want to know before they're going to miss their payment, hopefully, that, hey, there's going to be something. Okay, what's up? What's your plan? We can come up with workout plans when they're able to get out. We can actually, and this is where our donors and our social enterprise and those mortgage payments really help us out, because we can advance the taxes and insurance in the meantime until they get current. So they won't fall behind there. Not to mention, getting right on your taxes and insurance is a lot harder than catching up on the mortgage principal sometimes. So they'll owe us that later. They'll have to repay that back because nothing's really for free in this world. And that's one of the empowering things about this. Even with Habitat Mortgage, it's not free. And if they fall behind, we'll advance that so they stay current. And then we're going to come up with a workout plan when they're ready so they're able to repay that back. Maybe we'll extend the payments out a little bit further. We'll change things up. But there's ways we can come up. And it depends. It's always different depending on who the homeowner and the circumstances.
Yeah. It's funny you would touch on, you build in a few point buffer because taxes, insurance, life happens, goes up. Literally, as we're having this show, my son is texting me. He was defending himself at the local magistrate court because he had a speeding ticket. Yeah. And he had a heavy foot. And I said, well, you have to go fight this because, your rate of speed, it would have been a 6-year penalty till the insurance.
Oh, gosh.
Until insurance would have looked at him as though he hadn't been speeding earlier this summer. And he said, well, they reduced it to 2 points. I'm like, well, take that deal because that's a great deal. Not to advocate for speeding, not that my son deserves any special treatment. I said, if the local magistrate doesn't agree, you're going to have to take your lumps. But you're right. Yeah, that's very good, that Habitat. I just bring it up to say that it's smart the way you've built Habitat to build in for these things, because we all know you don't need to be, we all share, no matter your station of life. Insurance is rising, taxes are rising, external costs are rising.
The program's been long. For instance, there's a lot of crises that happen in the world, and I think social media and a lot of influencers will talk about the new thing or a better idea or the hack that's going to solve it. And yet Habitat for Humanity has been the quiet, steady thing that's in the background, just trying to do a little bit more by doing the same program over and over very consistently. And I think that has been part of our rock. And I think our donors and our volunteers actually appreciate that. We're not flashy. We're not the new fangled thing that's going to be out there doing something truly innovative. We're doing things that are really, really smart for home buyers and for the community. And hopefully our home buyers and the volunteers, our donors, can kind of catch the fire and help pay that forward, ripple effects into other areas of the community and the market.
Yep. Well, and I love how right. And I love that you touched on when you sell the home, it gets sold for appraised value.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which some might say, well, that's not a very charitable thing because housing's really high. Well, wherever housing is, selling for appraised value matters to everyone else around that door.
Correct. Because
if you were to sell at just what you had in it,
that
wouldn't do good for the neighbor on either side.
Yeah, we're in a very homeownership centric community, but and this is part of the problem with the crisis of home values as well. So we are living in a world where everything about housing, we need shelter, we need clothing, we need food, but the housing part of it, we're not in control of because it's all about zoning, your local government taxes, your school district taxes, your business employers in the area, your health insurance, all the utilities, because they got liens and so forth, the financial instruments that are all relying on you paying all these things back, including your telephone bill, that are all influencing what happens to your home and what your home community will look like. And trying to keep that all affordable is actually a legitimate fight that we're basically losing. So what we're trying to do is providing more of these opportunities. And that's where Habitat for Humanity comes in. If you want to own your first home, and maybe this was the case for me when my wife and I bought our first home, we had my father-in-law give us some cash to help us out with the down payment. We came up with some, he came up with some, and it helped us avoid the mortgage insurance. There's a lot of families that can't get to that mortgage insurance with that uncle, the grandparent that can do that for them. That's where Habitat for Humanity can be that answer to at least get them into that housing economy and providing some of the solutions of providing more of those opportunities. The other challenge right now with housing in this state is the fact that there's the home prices are astronomically high, historically high levels, and the interest rates have gone up. Interest rates are not historically high, although they are, recent memory, they've gotten higher from the 3%, now they're 7%. But the real challenge now has become the fact that Pennsylvania is ranked 45th out of 50 states in adding more units. It's just not meeting the housing demand. And that's a real struggle. We're doing a little bit, but we can't do it all ourselves. And that's where we're hoping to help the whole market by those ripple effects. We'll just be the example for now until we can find more solutions to helping out the entire market.
Yeah. You touched on zoning as you were showing the pictures, or Chris, our wonderful producer at Cast Ahead, was showing the pictures. When you take, so you go into a home that's existing, but you have to take it down to studs. How much of your struggle is not the right word, but that's the word that just came to mind. How much of a problem or issue is it with local zoning and ordinances to go down to stud and then come back up to finished house? Is that something that you battle against?
Fortunately, when it comes to a rehab, so these are like housing preservation things, those have been super simple. It's when we have to do new development. For example, I've got at least 3 projects in my 7-year tenure being the boss here at this Habitat affiliate, where I've been advocating for taking a lot or lots, actually usually multiple lots, and trying to sometimes make it similar to the adjacent homes so I can get more homes on that lot. It's zoned for like 4, and I want to get 6 or 7, which looks like the neighboring lots, like right across from it. And the current zoning just, we're not interested in that. And so they can't. For instance, zoning hearing boards are quasi-judicial, and they're just making judgments based on what's presented to them. They don't control what the zoning rules are. That's the superintendents locally, and they've set up the rules. So if you're trying to appeal to the zoning hearing board, that's just trying to get approval based on what they've been told by their bosses. It's just not probably the best battle to have, and it's also on a time constraint because I'm hopefully going to buy it if I can get this many houses, because that'll make it a fair deal to be able to make these number of homes. And then sometimes it just doesn't work out. So it's a very difficult battle on the zoning front. Right now, it's easier to build homes for-profits. They're very large on large lots. Also because that's the way the zoning is kind of set up. They can make a profit on that. It's not like it was in the 50s and 60s, post-World War II housing, where you got large tracts and the business and industry was able to make a lot of subdivisions up very effectively. You had a lot of businesses and craftsmen that were specializing in these, and you put them all together at that scale, very affordable homes. We're not doing that these days.
Yeah, the zoning thing's interesting. We're here. Gardner's is right across from Park City Mall. 14 years that we've been here. The parking lot across the street has been vacant, barren. The exit of Sears Automotive. I just look at that, and there's so many answers there that could be, but I think we just it just runs up against the zoning and the ordinances and things like that. And if somebody could figure out, and maybe Lancaster Connects can be that light bulb moment for people smarter than the 2 mattress guys, but probably as smart as Andrew. If somebody could figure out that bridge to get over the zoning, get over the ordinances, satisfy the local hearing boards, and convert these properties that are languishing in every mall and, dead areas of retail, dead areas of warehouse and commercial type development. Not that I'm advocating for just dropping things here, there, and everywhere. Okay. We can be smart about it, but I think everybody, no matter where you're at in life, can agree we need more homes, because when we have that, everybody gets to participate in the American dream. And I referenced my son. The reason he went in front of the magistrate is he's 21, living at home. He has an idea to get out on his own. But I said, look, man, if you're paying high car insurance rates for the next 6 years, that's going to be that much harder.
Yeah.
It could be the difference between you leaving in the next 2 years or not. I don't know. All depends on how much they throw the book at you. And we got to figure this out.
And what's really interesting right now is, so I visited Harrisburg a couple of times, go down to Washington, D.C. once a year with other Habitat affiliates and housing advocates. And they're all saying that they're hearing a lot about the housing crisis, much more. Why is that? And it's really because the fact that the housing crisis, which has been here like our entire lives for low-income families, and that's why Habitat for Humanity exists, has crept into the fact that it's affecting the middle class. And those first-time home buyers, you're selling others that want to be able to get part of that housing economy and participate in it and building up their wealth through that equity, are being restrained from it. There's just not the opportunities there. And there's a lot of households that are able to go and do the cash deals, that are able to pay above the asking price on what little is available so that their home prices go up. It's great if you're already in the game, but we want to be able to create more of those opportunities. And probably the starting point is, let's do a little bit of changes on zoning and making a little bit smarter choices about what's available for those first-time homes.
Yeah. Great stuff, Andrew. I'm gonna shift gears for just a moment. A lot of people know Habitat through the Habitat Restore. Can you tell us, for people that aren't aware, what the Habitat Restore is, why it exists, and where you are?
Yeah,
where it is.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
So our Lancaster area Habitat Restore. Now there's a lot of. I think there's like 900. No, maybe not that many. There's about maybe 700 of the 1,000 affiliates that have restored. Not all of them do. Wow. We're actually one of the first ones. We're the fourth in the country that started around 99, 2000-ish. So we're an early trendsetter. It's actually the superpower engine for our Habitat for Humanity affiliates, because land development is very expensive before you ever start doing it. So you need before we can start fundraising and getting grants and so forth, we still need to acquire land, have the cash to be able to do that planning and have some of those resources. So very, very strong, powerful influence for us to be able to have changing people's lives through homeownership. It's our social enterprise. We sell donated products. 85% of our store, actually probably well over that, 85% more is all donated. We do a little bit of purchase product. In fact, we do a handful of mattresses. In fact, we do a lot of flooring. We do paint, recycled paint, but we have a lot of donated house furniture, power tools, other building materials. Your kids cracked the toilet, come check out here before you go to Home Depot or Lowe's. We might actually have one you can take off the shelf for a bargain and put it in there. I've actually done that. It's a great store, and it's also a great volunteer opportunity. So it doesn't have to be all in the construction site. In fact, I almost want to build up like a personality profile. Like, do you want to work in the building site? Is your favorite place? I think everyone should. But hey, you might want to be a regular working in our high-paced retail environment here at the Restore. So a little different kind of experience here.
That's cool. And I know Chris just had the address on the screen, but some people might not be watching. The web address and the physical address.
Yeah. So you can find it at Lancaster, Lebanon, habitat.org, but online. And we're at 1061 Manheim Pike here in Lancaster. It's actually at the edge of Lancaster City and Manheim Township, out near the train station. And
just to get an idea of scale, how big is the building? Like, how much space do you have in there? Well,
first of all, for everyone that's familiar with the old store, it was out in Greenfield previously. That was a little over 19,000 square feet. Okay. And we had, 37 parking spaces, which was the thing that probably held us back the most. Great store, really was a powerhouse for us, but we really had to graduate at some point and expand. So we expanded in every direction. We expanded the number of parking spaces to 147, and then we went from 19,000 to 33,000, and that doesn't include the upstairs where I'm actually working right now in our program office here in the mezzanine. And it's also a proper warehouse where I want to say proper modern warehouse, I should say, where the high 30-foot ceiling. So we had to get very high pallet racking. Actually, it's one of those things that's neat because we have a lot more storage in there to be able to put product, donated product, and so forth there. We weren't really sure when we moved in with this bigger building and higher ceilings, we were going to be able to really fill the higher ceilings because we couldn't afford initially the higher pallet racking. The shelves, you go to like a Home Depot or Lowe's that go over the ceiling, because we had low ones in the old store. we got an estate gift that you don't budget for those. Very, very blessed, unbudgeted. Gift came in at just the right time. We were able to put a third of it towards our building campaign directly into the homes. And then we were able to put the other portion to cover that and the lift that would reach all the way up to the top. So it allowed us to actually do those move-in costs, stay a little bit ahead, and be able to benefit from the impact of that. So that was one of those miracle and wonders, just being in this organization. There's the high power.
Yeah. That's great. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I hadn't thought of the Restore in the way that you offer those kinds of goods, flooring, a toilet. Like, as you're saying that, like, man, there was a time here at Gardeners. Now, I don't know that you would have ADA toilets because we need that for our bathrooms, but there was a time that we had to replace all 3 toilets in the span of like a month here, and it was like $2,600.
It all depends.
I'm kicking myself.
Yeah, it all depends. You can actually, I've started coming in, or I do it try to do it off my hours and stuff, but going to, as a customer so that the team isn't bothered by me too. So, but looking there before I go to Lowe's or Home Depot, because this, obviously the inventory of what's in there changes periodically, but you can always find that deal of something else you're going to need. In fact, I'm looking just for a duffel now to keep some of my golf stuff. I don't keep my golf bag leave it in the car, so it's not just rolling all around. So it's something I keep looking for down there, because that's the sort of stuff you might find, that little treasure, that functional thing you might need.
Yes, if you're on a shopping journey and like a treasure hunt is part of it.
Treasure hunt's a great word.
Or you're like, you got a vision for this space.
Landlords.
And you're not set on it.
Yeah,
coming in, landlords.
And even if you need a couch dining room set, come and have a look.
Yeah, awesome. Fantastic.
Hey, Andrew, often on this show, we have conversations with other nonprofits, charitable organizations, and we see the support of the Lancaster community, businesses, other organizations, really just step in and support organizations like Habitat for Humanity. Can you talk a little bit about how the Lancaster community supports your organization and how we can support more in the future?
Yeah, actually, it's all about those volunteer hours and the gifts that come on in. We have it from all over. In fact, we've got a very diversified base that helps us out. And it's earned every year because we're constantly giving the updates. We don't ask for a gift until we give you the update of what we've accomplished and what we're doing currently. That's part of our transparency and support of them having impact, because we're doing the work for our donors and our volunteers to help our foremost beneficiary, the first-time home buyers. And we've got we started from Highland Presbyterian Church. We're working with a lot of churches these days, getting their volunteer groups. Sometimes if it's an older population, they're just making the gifts, doing the collection, passing the hat. We've also working with a synagogue that's coming out regularly to come on out and volunteer on the build sites. Absolutely wonderful to have them contributing, actually building up the house. And they're making gifts, because these houses are not cheap. We love the volunteer hours at the same time, but we can't do it without the resources. As I was saying, the cost these days. And also, there's just too many specialized things on top of it to be able to make them safe, warm, and dry and affordable today. We've got a lot of corporate partners. They're using both state tax credits to make their gifts, as well as just outright contributions, sometimes passing around their employees. We're working with foundations from High, Stabler, and others to be able to bring their gifts in. And of course, like I said, our home buyers themselves, their mortgage payments are helping their providing for the next house and that land development and site development for future projects. And then, like I said, the Restore customer and donors as well.
Yeah. I would imagine you participate with the Extra Give coming up in November.
Certainly do. It's actually, when I moved up here from the Washington, D.C. area, it was actually one of my most favorite days of the year to be able to see everybody out and about celebrating the good work that we're all doing. And growing up in Western New York, we didn't have anything quite like that. Maybe they do now. I'm actually not sure. But it's just so neat to see the open collaboration support of one another. Is good work. Yeah. And that doesn't just mean the nonprofits. I mean, the people are supporting all those nonprofits doing their good work. It's super.
Yeah, fantastic.
So as we wrap up our time here, Andrew, what's next for Habitat for Humanity of Lancaster and Lebanon?
Yeah, so we're working on completing those 30 homes for 30 home buyers right now. We just broke ground out in Columbia on 5 row homes across from the Turkey Hill experience. We have been removing way more stone and rock than I wanted to out there. And I think my team did a calculation on the weight, and it was like something like 6 blue whales worth of being trucked out of there. Happy blue whales, by the way. But so that was a little surprising. We're going to be doing Women Build up in Lebanon first in the middle of September. All women crews helping to rehab a couple of homes up there. And then we'll be doing a Women Build here in Lancaster on those build sites across from Turkey Hill in first week in November. We'll be doing 8-unit condominium complex. Our very first condominium complex is part of the UPMC medical campus redevelopment. There's a satellite parking lot that they wanted to do home ownership, and they turned to Habitat for Humanity. And after that, we're hoping to be able to look at what our next 5-year building plan is on how we're going to be serving the city of Lancaster, county of Lancaster, and also, of course, north or Lebanon, north of here. So.
Yeah,
it's amazing work.
Yeah, love it. Well, Lancaster, you heard it. It is volunteer hours, but it's also the donations. It is the treasure. We often talk about talents. Habitat for Humanity, a vast network, very well run. Maybe they need graphic designers. Probably not. You've got a lot of great, competent people on staff there. Time, that's the donation hours. You can go to the website and sign up and grab the skills that they have and slots that they have available. It comes down to treasure, as Andrew said. You just relate it. Like you get into a project and you remove, what a great way, 6 blue whales worth of stone that you didn't anticipate. It's one of those things of being a developer that comes up and it's like, well, we got to push forward. And the money comes from the next thing, and the next thing can be your donation. So we'd love if you could make a donation. Again, you can go right to their website and do that on the site.
And donation of the household goods too.
Yeah, you can do that. Yep, you can do that too. That will help. So before you put it out for free at your curb, if you just want it out of your way, make a trip across town. Please don't take their garbage. I saw something so sad in my feed this morning. Somebody at a library, not local, somewhere else, dropped off like what appeared to be like 2 pickup truck loads of books overnight at the library, and they got all rained on. So now the library has to just get rid of trash.
That's not helpful. We do.
Please don't do that to the restore. Yeah, please don't do that at the restore. Take good, usable stuff that other people would want. But yeah, rather than just putting it for free at your curb, take it over and donate.
Yeah, and please drop it off between the hours so we can get inside and take care of it properly. So it's 10 to 6 Tuesday through Friday and 10 to 4 on Saturday. Those are the hours for donations. So
yeah,
and that's when the store's open too. Come shop.
Great. Yeah. Andrew, anything else you'd like to share about Habitat for Humanity as we wrap it up?
I think Habitat for Humanity is one of the most powerful organizations to be able to get people involved in really challenging housing barriers, because having the solution of just people getting involved and learning a little bit more and connecting more with people in real life is going to be the solution, no matter what the problem and challenge is.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, you're doing amazing work. We feel your heart coming through the screen and the speakers here today. So that's you guys are just doing amazing stuff here in Lancaster and Lebanon counties.
Thank you.
Do you have a few more minutes for us? We'd like to get to know you a little bit better.
Ben's favorite part of the show.
We got the connection cocktail.
He named it. It's his baby.
No drinks though.
I'm a coffee here.
I've been drinking.
Yeah, I got a coffee here too. I'll kick it off. So we want to know maybe a favorite book, podcast, TV show, some sort of media you're enjoying right now.
I mostly like reading, but I have just not had time for it. I read mountaineering literature. It's my hobby. I got a blog about it. I love the all the terrible stories. I don't mean disaster stories. I mean the stories of people of how they got into climbing and the struggles they have, and you get those long years in between the climb when they're stuck in camp and dealing with the issues that their ex or somebody, some loss and something. Those are just they're just so human. It's so cool. Yeah,
that's cool. I read one of those recently, or not recently, but about Everest. It was I forget what the book was called. I think it was a popular book, but you probably have it on the bookshelf back there.
I might, but that's not the one I was reaching for. But I was actually going to say the one that's made me the happiest though is actually this one by Sonny Trotter, Uplifted. Okay. This one just came out from Patagonia Books. It's just a delight. It was actually not heavy like some of the other ones, but it's really good.
Is this your Chris is?
Yeah, that's it.
He's on it. That's your here. Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. So are you a climber yourself then?
A little bit. I'm an out of shape climber.
I'm right there with you.
I'm playing more golf. Cool. I get to the gym now. I've got a gift card to go over to Spooky Duck from Christmas. I still haven't gone over there. I've canceled it 6 times.
Yeah. Yep. It's tough sometimes to find the time. That's true.
And I definitely haven't traveled anywhere to go climbing lately.
Well, maybe this dovetails into question number 2. That dream vacation spot, is it climbing oriented or elsewhere?
Heck no. Is it really a vacation or an adventure?
It could be whatever you
want. You could pick.
Okay, I'm just going to go for the vacation because I just want to go to New England. Give me, mountains of Vermont or get me on the coast of Maine. So
very cool.
What's that name? There's the mountain, this Man in the Mountain up in New England.
It's gone. It's in New Hampshire, but yeah, it crumbled.
Oh no! Really?
Yeah, the face is not there anymore. Yeah, like 5 years ago. Yeah.
Way to go, Jeff!
Bringing it down.
Just bring down the vibe. Sorry. Okay. Well, New England rock climbing and mountain climbing with mountains that haven't crumbled. Very good.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Last question, Andrew. Your favorite local spot in Lancaster? Restaurant, coffee shop, whatever. Go ahead.
I love the ballpark. Anytime. It's a great 9-inning vacation, but maybe blue collar after a round of golf with my son and meeting up with my wife and daughter there. That's a good time.
Very cool. Very cool.
Very good.
Well, thanks for playing along with our Connection Cocktail. Thanks for being on Lancaster Connects and sharing.
We got to answer that trivia question real quick.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yes.
Just to close the loop. We kind of alluded to it.
Yep.
It was President Jimmy Carter. And Andrew, it was 2022, you said, was his last Carter project.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Well, that's what we'll go with. If we're off by a year of 2023, that's okay. So yeah, no excuses. If President Jimmy Carter could be out there, hard hat, swinging a hammer through age 90 something, I think it was.
Yes. Yeah.
You can get out there and volunteer and or donate and or take things to the Restore and or shop at the Restore. You can find a way to help Habitat for Humanity. We hope you would. And hopefully this show can inspire that. So Andrew, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really.
Yeah. Have a great rest of the afternoon, Andrew.
You're welcome.
Be well. Bye.
Yep.
See you. Oh, man.
Great show. Great. I mean, this is why we do the show. Great people helping people in our county, right here in our backyard.
I've known about the Restore. I've never been there, and I will be intentional about making a trip there. I got to see what's in there.
Yep.
And by the way, there's probably something you need in there, multiple things you might need in there for your home or otherwise, and you're helping out a great local nonprofit.
That's right. That's right. Yep. 100%. Yeah. My sleep better tip is reduce your stress before going to sleep.
Oh, you got a technique? I guess there's any number of ways you can reduce stress.
Go to your Happy Place.
I watched Happy Gilmore 2 this past weekend.
Yeah. That's good.
It's good.
Good time.
It's good.
I'm glad I could watch it at home and not have to go to the theater and get a $9 bucket of popcorn and a $12 soda.
Right. I laughed. I didn't have huge expectations.
Yeah.
But
so maybe it's watching a funny movie.
Yep.
Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's just not jumping on social media and getting into an argument or a discussion you don't need to.
That's a big one.
That could be
That's
one.
a big one.
Yeah. So reduce your stress. I mean, really help your mind out, right? Your body and your mind work a lot at night to recharge. We talk about this often in this segment. You get into that stress-free zone. Develop a routine, commit to that routine. Maybe it's a hot bath. Maybe if you have like one of those little massage guns, you rub it on your shoulder. Maybe it is just sitting back in your recliner and taking some deep breaths. But get into that stress-free zone. Allow your mind and your body to transition into sleep. You know, it's funny. We get up and everybody has their morning routine. Maybe it is stretching. Maybe it is exercise. Maybe it is coffee. Maybe it's coffee again and the coffee a third time. You have that morning routine to get into your day. And then as a society, it's like we just wrap up the day and expect to go to sleep and immediately sleep and immediately benefit. And that's just not the way our bodies work. In fact, I would contend we got to do the opposite. If you're going to have no routine in your day, have it in the morning and then put that routine at night, because your brain and your body really do a lot of recharge, restorative and regenerative things at night. Help your body do that with that go to sleep, stress-free zone, stress-free routine at the end of the day. We'll send you great tips like that and more with our Sleep Better book. We'll mail a copy. Go to gardenersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better, and we'll get you that book in the mail, sent right to your mailbox.
So you're saying
our gift to you.
You're saying our bodies don't have a power button like our TV remote does?
No, they just can't shut off.
Yeah, not that easy.
Not that simple.
All right. Testimonial time for Gardener's Mattress and More. Lancaster Connects is brought to you by Gardener's Mattress and More. This testimonial came in over the weekend. Had a customer made their first mattress purchase from Gardener's on 8/23. That's a couple days ago. From the first step in the door, the staff was very helpful. Never once did they act pushy. Allowed us to lay on mattresses that we were considering for as long as we wanted. Even went back the next day to lay on them again. Multiple visits, multiple hours invested in shopping. That's fantastic. That's normal here at Gardener's. We did compare their product and prices with another company, unnamed company, and they were very much cheaper. We were very much cheaper. We would definitely use Gardener's for future purchases, but in the meantime, we strongly recommend them to our family and friends, Bob and Shirley.
And I like that Bob and Shirley shared their photo. That's great. Just thank you so much, Bob and Shirley. You don't know how much that helps us because, you know, I'm sure our watchers, listeners know that reviews for businesses are good. So anytime you can give a review to a business, please do, especially ours if you do business with us. Obviously, a business needs to earn a good review. If you can't give a good review, maybe contact that business as to why first. But I digress. So reviews are great. But actually what's happening is if you can post a photo or a video with your review, that helps a lot right now because algorithmically things are updating and changing. And photos with reviews, videos with reviews are great. So if you have somebody working on your home, take a before and after picture. If you have a restaurant you go to, like I did at 401 Prime, take a picture of your meal. You know, those things really matter to local businesses, and they would just help Lancaster go around a little more if we had great reviews with pictures and videos. So Bob and Shirley, you might not have known at the time, but boy, thank you so much. You really, really helped us out.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. I think that's a wrap.
That's the wrap. We're a few minutes over, but that's okay. We make the rules here. If you didn't know already, right?
We do.
So, all right. Well, we'll see you next week. It's Labor Day. You still have a week of summer, despite what this guy wants to end for you. Enjoy that last week of summer. We'll see you next Monday on Lancaster Connects.